right, welcome back, everybody. Shooting another episode of Off the Cuff with Monte and Geoff. We just got done talking about baseball, which we love. You know that we
so
love
good.
baseball. But another love of ours is Husker football.
Yes,
and
football in general, really.
Well, football in general. That's exactly right.
Husker
And
football,
Husker
yeah.
football. Husker volleyball is always up there too. But this is going to be about football.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, we're about a week into fall camp.
Yes.
A little over a week, I suppose, into fall camp. Very interesting how Coach Rhule is running the ship.
More discipline.
Yes, which the two biggest things that have happened, Miles Farmer has been, he started all year last year.
Yep.
Had been a
second leading tackler.
Second leading tackler on the team,
Yep.
returning tackler on the team. Had started some games the year prior.
Right.
Was suspended right off the bat
Yep.
for, as Coach Rhule said, not doing the little things that were expected of him.
Yep.
Didn't rule out the possibility that he could get back on the team,
He did enter the transfer portal, though.
but he has entered the transfer portal
Yeah.
since then. So
He can still come back, yes.
yes, he still can come back, but it's not looking very likely that he will.
See, I don't know where he's at on that, but maybe he's just trying to get out of training camp. That's a pro move, though, ain't it?
Well, that would be a pro move. Yes, that would be more of a pro move. But yes, you know, so obviously that is one instance of what I believe is Rhule establishing a culture, what he expects, what his expectations are, and how he will handle those that don't meet his expectations.
Agreed. Now, I don't know if you know either, but they're not doing their training camp like normal. They're in a dorm setting, and so that's caused some interesting comments as well. You know, Ty Robinson said that the beds aren't long enough for his body.
Yeah.
His feet are sticking out.
Yeah.
Which I thought, that's not good.
Probably true. Probably true. But I also heard that the coaches are staying there too.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
coaches
they
are
are.
staying there too. So it's not like the players are just completely
Right.
You know, I think in the
And
sense,
they need to if they're going to do that.
right, and in the sense of, you know, building kind of chemistry and building that camaraderie and closeness, tightness of a team. I think that's not a bad move.
Right, and they're pairing a veteran with a rookie in the rooms. I think is
okay.
So that's also good for team building.
Absolutely,
I would say, you know?
absolutely.
But the other thing was, one of Rhule's guys reported to camp, and his name is Joshua Fleeks, and Rhule signed this guy out of Baylor when he was coaching at Baylor, and then he entered the transfer portal and he came to Nebraska, but he came to Nebraska this August a little heavy, and he's a receiver, so how heavy was he? I don't know, but Rhule sent him home.
Yeah. Said
So,
when you get back into playing
When you
shape,
get shape, then come back up, I guess. I don't know. I'm not sure how that's going to develop.
I
whether
don't
he's
know.
going to come or not, but
yeah, isn't that
we kind of
crazy?
need that guy, too.
Yeah, we do. Or he could definitely be used for sure.
He can help us for sure. I mean, our wide receiver corps are they're not very experienced.
Right.
You know, you got Betts coming back, which could be huge. So I don't know, but he comes to camp overweight. That's crazy.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, though, like you said, okay, this is a guy that Rhule recruited to Baylor when he was there.
Yeah.
When Rhule was hired at Nebraska, he entered the transfer portal seemingly almost with the idea that he was going to come follow Rhule to Nebraska,
Yeah.
which is what it kind of feels like.
Yeah.
And then you have a former starter, one of the top tacklers on the team coming back. Doesn't matter if you break the rules and where you're at on the depth chart. From the standpoint of, it looks like you're going to get the punishment that
They were both interesting moves, I thought.
Yes.
Really interesting moves.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, the thing that stinks from a team standpoint, like I said, you got Farmer, who is an experienced guy, you're probably penciling him in as a starter.
Oh, without a doubt.
You know, so now we have a little bit more unknowns with regard to that, but yeah, you know, I think sometimes early stages of, if you want to say that he's building a culture, in those early stages, you have to do what you have to do to basically show everybody this is how we're going to do it.
Have you looked at Rhule's previous stints in college where he's coached at Temple and at Baylor, and I think that was the two head
Those
coaches.
are his two head coaching jobs.
And each time, the first year, he won maybe one game.
Yeah.
But the next year, they just kept on building and building. I think we're going to win more than one game this year.
Oh, yeah.
I really believe that. In fact, I'm just going to just speed up the process here. I'm going to predict we're going to win 6 games this year.
I think we're going bowling.
I think we're going bowling.
I think we will too. I do think that we will. I'm not going to say we're going to win more than 6.
I can't do that either.
I could see us being 6-6, maybe 7-5. At the outside chance of an 8-4 if everything goes right.
If we beat Minnesota in our first game, watch out.
Could be
a lot better.
Yeah,
but,
could be something. But
there's still a lot of
a lot
losses on the team or on the schedule. Like Michigan. I hate to say it, but that's probably a loss. You know?
Yeah, there are, and that's okay. Like I said, I think it's okay in the early stages. Now, I don't think, like Monty said, that we're going to go 1-11, 2-10. No. I think we're probably looking at worst maybe a 4-8. Something like that.
Yeah, I would agree.
But
that works probably. Yeah.
But I kind of tend to agree. I kind of think in 6-6, 7-5.
And Husker Nation, would you be happy with 6-6?
I have to be honest with you. I'd say yes.
Yeah, I think so too. If we go bowling, I think everybody will be happy.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
And show a team that is disciplined and that does things that you expect a Nebraska team to do. Too many times I don't care if you're talking Frost or if you're talking Riley. Not so much under Pelini, but
no, he went bowling every year.
The problem that we have had is that we, talent-wise, I think most of the games are a more talented team from the standpoint of individuals being more talented. But we shoot ourselves in the foot.
Yes.
Mental mistakes.
Lack of discipline.
Yes.
Stuff,
I mean, I just don't see. I mean, even against Iowa, which Iowa to me tends to overachieve. They get more out of the, if you just looked at a recruiting class and said, oh, we got 23 stars, they tend to get more out of those 3 stars than you will see a lot of teams do.
They develop them
very well.
And their line play is always solid, so that helps.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you see teams like that maybe don't have what I would consider individual talent levels as high as Nebraska or some other teams that continually succeed because of how they're developed and how they're coached.
Yeah.
And I don't think that we've seen that at Nebraska. I don't think that we've seen the development of that talent that has been there to the point where we win those games that we should win. That's one thing that you rarely saw with Osborne. Rarely did we get beat by a team we should lose to.
Yeah.
If we
on your one hand and all the time he was there, I think you can say that.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, exactly. We might get beat, but it's by a team usually that is better, faster, quicker.
Yes.
That we're a better team. Very rarely did you have a team that we were more athletic and that we got beat by because we weren't prepared or we made mistakes.
Right. Yep.
And I think that's one thing
100%.
that Nebraska fans are looking for is,
Our schedule was a lot easier back then too, though.
It was.
It was. There's a lot more parity now than there was back then.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
It's harder to do what they did.
Absolutely. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. That being said, I do think there's a lot of reasons for optimism. Our receiving group is young, but I tell you what, I think Billy Kemp is going to be good. That transfer from Virginia,
right?
Lots of experience. I think he's going to probably lead the team in receptions. From everything I've heard, Zavier Betts has looked fantastic.
If he comes through like they're talking,
man, he could be awesome. He could be a game changer type situation.
He absolutely could be.
And maybe just a year off to get his head kind of right and decide what he wanted to do and get in the right setting was the right thing.
What he had to do to get back on the team. I don't remember the exact number, but he had to pass like 23 hours in one semester.
A lot of hours.
So for him to do that means he wants it.
Yeah, I agree.
That's a great sign.
It is a great sign. I agree. I think, it's just going to be an interesting year. I'm very curious to see what it looks like that first week when we roll out there against Minnesota.
And the thing that gives me hope against Minnesota is that our defensive coordinator was the defensive coordinator for Syracuse last year, which is who Minnesota played in the bowl game last year. Mm-hmm. And did Syracuse win that game?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. I know they played them well defensively. I do know that, but I don't remember who won the game.
Yeah.
But
so
there's
just some positive things.
There's some good stuff that you can take out of that.
Yep,
yes,
absolutely. I'm excited. I always get excited. That first Husker game day, and then building up to that game, you just get those little butterflies, and you just can't wait.
The first Husker game, and the first high school game, they're very similar for me. Yeah,
you just can't wait to get that game going.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
And that is when August 31st?
August 31st, yeah.
Thursday night?
Thursday night game.
At Minnesota.
In Minnesota, yeah. So that'd be interesting. It's the first year, I was reading this, first year in a long time that we've started our season with 2 away games. Because we go to Colorado the next week.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
So. That is unusual.
Yeah.
So, we started a away game last year, and we don't want to talk about that.
No, well, we don't want to talk about a lot of these away games that we've had recently, so... But anyway, so Husker football, excited about that. Within Husker football and the conference, big happenings in the Big Ten.
Oh, yes, the alignment. Yes, of course.
Obviously, next year, the Big Ten was already planning on adding USC and UCLA to the mix. They released schedules.
Yeah.
Earlier or late last Friday, it was announced that Washington and Oregon are also going to be joining the Big Ten in 2024.
That is crazy.
It is crazy.
It really is.
So
are those the right two teams from that?
I think
Pac-12?
so. I do think so at this point.
Okay.
But it's weird. 18-team conference.
Yeah. Are we going to go to 20?
Logically, it says yes.
I think so too.
I think so too. Speaking along those lines, so the Pac-12, obviously, the Big Ten was going to take USC and UCLA, so they were going to be down to 10 teams. Now with Oregon and Washington, they were down to 8.
Yeah.
It had been previously announced that Colorado was moving to the Big 12,
right.
So down to 7. And then Utah, Arizona, and Arizona State are also moving to the Big 12, so now there are 4 teams left in the Pac-12.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Where are they going to go?
Where are they going to go?
Mountain West, I'll bet.
Well, I bet so. I bet they...
What other option do they have? Although I did hear that the ACC is looking at Stanford and
Cal. Yeah, I did see.
That's interesting. I can see Stanford.
Yeah, from an academic standpoint,
yes.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
so,
weird.
2 coast-to-coast conferences?
I know. Isn't that odd?
It's hard. And the Big 12, actually the Big 12 will virtually be coast-to-coast too, won't they? They got West Virginia and then you got Arizona. I mean, that's virtually the coast-to-coast.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's something else. I'll be.
Do you like that?
Okay, so here's my thoughts on it. I think the days of traditional conferences like we knew it. I mean, if we could go back to a conference, I'd go back to the Big 8. I love the Big 8.
Yeah,
that was a fun.
Those
conference.
were the days.
That was a fun conference.
Yeah.
Of course, I loved it because we usually won it. It was either between us and Oklahoma.
Yeah.
But
and then Texas came in and ruined all that stuff.
Well,
but anyway, that's
and they did.
Yeah.
But I think the days of the traditional conference are gone. Obviously,
they are.
I think you'll see the SEC expand. I think they'll probably end up gobbling up. I'm guessing Clemson and Miami, Clemson and Florida State, something like that, because they're not going to want to get left behind with what the Big Ten's doing.
Well, the ACC is a interesting. They have an interesting dilemma. Their contract
with their
is
TV
so
deal.
long. It's going to take a lot of money to get them out of that.
I know.
And is somebody going to pony up that money to make it happen?
I know.
I mean, we're talking millions upon millions of. Is it 150 million?
I don't know how much it is.
It's a huge number.
Because
like
I think their TV deal goes like all the way to 2034 or something like that.
Somewhere in there,
it's a
yes.
ridiculously long contract.
Yes.
So, but it wouldn't shock me. And I know this has always been kind of one of the Big Ten's golden gooses that they've been trying to bring in is Notre Dame. What does Notre Dame do?
Well, they're a half member of the ACC.
I know they are.
So, but they wouldn't have that same buyout, I wouldn't think. Would
No,
they?
I wouldn't think so because they're not a full member.
Right.
And so there's part of me that thinks if the Big Ten can get Notre Dame to come in, they'll grab Notre Dame, and then who?
And then who? That's the question.
And then who? Do they go with somebody from the ACC like in North Carolina? Do they go with Virginia? I've even heard them say even Clemson and Florida State. I've heard them mention.
You would rather have Notre Dame though first.
Well, I think they want Notre Dame. I think that's the one that
but
they
does
want.
Notre Dame want us?
Well, that's the problem. But what options are there? If you have 4 conferences with 20 schools in it, just for argument's sake,
right?
Do you want to be an independent? I mean, I know Notre Dame has succeeded being an independent, but at some point, you're going to almost lock yourself out of what's going on.
That's the thing. I don't know what their options would be if they could survive as an independent.
Yep.
I know they want to. That's their goal, I would say. But can they actually do that?
Right. Well, just for instance, okay, say you have a 20-team league. In order to play enough teams in your league to really say you have a conference champion, you're going to have to play 9 or 10 of them, more than likely, during the season. That doesn't leave very many games to schedule a Notre Dame or to schedule a...
And your conferences are going to be tough, too, as they are. So do you want another tough game as
probably
a,
not. You
as
probably
a
don't
non-conference game?
You probably don't need to.
Yeah, you probably don't. I don't know. It's... God.
It's crazy. I think when Nebraska joined the Big Ten back in 2010, 11, right around there.
I think it was 11, yeah.
Right in there.
Yeah.
There was talk that there were going to be 4 16-team super conferences, and I thought, nah, they're not going to go that big, that fast. And now here we are.
We're 18.
And at what point does the NCAA just say, football, you just do your own thing?
I think that's a good point. I think that's what's coming next, too.
Which I don't want to see that go. I don't want to see that for all sports.
Just for football.
Just for football.
Yeah.
And especially now with NIL and transfer portal and stuff like that, what does the NCAA really do? I mean,
Not much.
You know, you talk about Jim Harbaugh possibly getting suspended. Did you see that he might get suspended?
He is suspended.
Oh, is he suspended for the 4 games?
Yes, he is suspended.
Because
He'll come back for Nebraska.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
But he's suspended for 4 games for buying a kid a hamburger.
Yeah.
And now you got these kids that are getting $1 million offers on an NIL. I mean, that seems kind of silly, doesn't it?
It does.
From the
I know people don't like Harbaugh, but
Well,
I like Harbaugh myself.
I'm not a Harbaugh fan, but I think it's silly that a coach gets suspended for buying a kid a hamburger versus, you know, I mean, it just in the level of what are you doing, that just doesn't seem
that's kind of
logical to me. But what do you do?
I don't know. I don't know what to say. I do not.
All right. Well, we've got to have some sort of prediction here if we're talking Husker sports or Big Ten sports or something like that. Let's see.
We predicted 6 wins. We
did 6 wins. We did say that.
Who's going to win the Big Ten?
God, it's got to be either Michigan or Penn or Ohio State, doesn't it? Penn State has a chance.
Or Penn State.
Penn State is going to be pretty darn good. Their defense is going to be nasty.
That's the team a lot of people are talking about as a kind of a pretty serious contender.
It's going to depend on because they're going to have a new quarterback, that Drew Allar, I believe is how you pronounce his last name. He's going to be, because they had Sean Clifton for like, I don't know, 14, 15 years was playing quarterback for him. So they got a new face back there.
He skipped high school and went straight to Penn State.
Doesn't it seem like, especially with the COVID year, it seems like some of these kids have been playing college football forever.
It does. Well, the kid that got kicked off, that was asked not to report to Nebraska, Rhule signed him at Baylor.
6 years
and he was there at Baylor, and then he went to coach the pros. Now he's at Nebraska, and he's getting one of the kids who recruited Baylor come up here.
I know.
How long is that?
I know. It just feels like and I know we're getting to the end of those COVID years that these kids have.
God, I hope so. I want normalcy of some sort, because it's not anywhere else. So
yeah. So
good Lord.
I don't know. I'm gonna throw out a prediction. I think we're gonna go 7-5. I'm gonna say we're gonna go 7-5.
Okay.
I think Sims is gonna have a really good year. I think that Betts is going to shock a ton of people. I think he is going to. I don't think he's going to lead the team in catches. I think Kemp's going to do that. But I wouldn't be shocked if Betts has the most touchdowns for a receiver.
He'll be the new. What was the guy we had last year? The new Palmer.
Trey Palmer.
He's got that kind of ability.
Oh, he does, and that speed. I mean,
he's not as fast, I don't think, but he's really close.
Yeah, he's very close. Yeah. And so I think he's going to have a great year. Defensively, I think we will have, especially early on, I think we'll have some busts just because it's a new system.
Yeah.
I think there will be some kind of ups and downs. I think we'll confuse people with it because it's unique.
Yeah.
I think we'll see some good things and some bad things out of it. But I'm going to go 7-5. I'll probably regret it, but
I'm sticking with 6-6.
Man, that's fine. I can understand that, and I can even understand somebody saying 4-8 just because there's a lot of things that have to go right. What if Sims gets hurt? Then we're looking at.
Then who's the backup? You think? Are you going to go Harburg or Purdy?
I'm going to say probably. Well, I don't know.
Because it's those two, basically.
It's those two, Harburg or Purdy. I would kind of like to see Harburg just because I saw Purdy last year and it was pretty bad.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
It was pretty bad. But
maybe he can channel some of his older brother's magic, going on. Because if he can, that'd be pretty good.
That'd be awesome. But yeah, so that's kind of what I'm thinking.
All right. Well, let's go Huskers.
Go Huskers is right. Well, again, if you're liking what we're talking about, and even if you don't, keep watching us.
Still watch it.
Yeah, still watch it.
It'll get better. It's got to get better, right?
Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Click the like button as well, and then also ring the little bell so you know when we upload new content. We're going to let you all know, if you're not already a member of our Facebook page, please go and join that. We are going to do some checking into that YouTube live thing because I think it would be fun if we could do a live show and you guys could write in and we can answer some questions like that and kind of interact more that way.
You need our knowledge. You know it. You need it.
They know that already.
Okay.
So, all right. Well, I really don't have anything else. Do you, Monty?
I've spilled my beans, man.
All right.
So yeah.
Well, it's good. It's good to be back. We'll be seeing you more frequently. Okay.
All right.
Have a good night.